Hello, everybody. I'm super excited. I'll be having my guest here shortly, but I wanted to just kind of step in a little bit in advance. This is Misha Safran, founder of the podcast called Coexistence: Joy, Pain, and Truth. Pain, Joy, and Truth, either one, they all come around together. And I'm also the founder of my 3 private Facebook groups. 2 groups for women. One group is for women from all around the world called Authentic and Wholehearted Joy. The second group is for LBQT identified women from all around the world. And the third one is Joyful and Resilient Families for moms and dads. Building resilient children with joy and joyfully building resilient children, etc., etc. So today, as usual, the topic is the coexistence, and I am curious how you are doing with this whole notion of, gosh, I'm not feeling that great, and oh, something really nice happened. I was talking to one of my students the other day and had a very interesting experience where the student was talking about, because yes, I also work with students. So an academic life coach, I'm a parenting coach, again, building resilient and joyful families, and I also am a joy and resilience coach for women of all ages and all backgrounds, sexual orientations, race. Oh, you know what I really want to do right now? I want to acknowledge, I really wanted to do this at the beginning and I forgot. I want to acknowledge something I heard a few weeks ago when I was interviewing with my partner, Teresa and Brian Melendez. They're Native Americans from the state of Nevada. Actually, they're from another state, but they live in Nevada. And they were really gracious and lovely in reminding me that all land is Native American land. So I am in a new place. I can't pronounce the name, but I will learn how to pronounce it. Oftentimes you'll hear people say, want to acknowledge the land that I'm on belongs to such and such tribe. And I just want to take their statement and say, all land here in the United States is Native land, Native American land. So shout out to the Native Americans and just sending you lots of love. And also, those of you who have not attended or been part of our webinar, we do have a webinar called A Candid Conversation about Systemic Racism. And this is a platform for us to raise the voices of BIPOC community members. So if that interests you, I will be sure to put the links in the comments and the chats so that you can join us. And I noticed I'm saying a lot of ums today, but part of my journey is not to criticize myself all the time. So I am delighted to be able to just do things that don't always feel absolutely clean and yet stay in touch and focused and conscious with all of you. So I'm delighted to introduce you to via, trying to find where I see it. Hold on a second. So Lucie Porter has sent me her bio, and I'm going to read this to you, but my computer's really slow. So I'm waiting for my computer. And maybe it will come out where I can see it very soon. And I know she also has a free gift for you. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And I am looking forward to sharing her picture with you. And I'm looking forward to sharing her presence with you because she's such a phenomenal woman. She's done a lot of really beautiful things this year, and I can't wait to introduce her to you. So just give me a few moments, and I will be bringing her on. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to just read her bio to you. And Lucie Porter is a compassionate and self-driven individual with a vision to support as many as she can who suffer from acute chronic pain. After over 20 years' experience working as a contractor, as a business development director, while leveraging and branding corporate pain-related medical centers and law firms, she decided to put all of her resources together to create unparalleled professional resource options and affiliates to change the quality of life for those who live with pain. This was inspired after she personally became the victim of a hit and run as a pedestrian and decided to take a negative into a positive and impact other people's lives. She loves what she does, and she feels empowered and rewarded daily simply by seeing how her efforts affect those who chose to accept her support. She has what's called Interact Health Pro professional resource options. And this is the virtual care provides support and services to those who suffer from acute and chronic pain, providing effective resource options while compassionately supporting those in pain to enable a better quality of life while acting as a liaison with their primary caregivers, rehabilitation practitioners, and in some case, legal representatives promoting positive recovery. They are based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, initially serving the GTA and now also offering virtual online care anywhere. They offer free live events and interviews, followed by Q&A, providing valuable insight on support systems for acute and chronic pain, mental health, scoliosis, as well as rehabilitation and sports industry injuries, concussion, motor vehicle accidents, and slip and fall related challenges. They now offer open discussion on virtual care treatment programs and pain related. Their private Gain with the Pain-Free group offers its community members with ongoing activities on pain related topics. And so they have a lot of questions that they are willing to respond. And she also has some personal story that she'll be sharing with us. So I'll be looking forward to introducing you to her and sharing more on that. Those of you who are listening, who have experienced acute or chronic pain on a physical level or on an emotional level, I would love to hear from you to find out, how do you cope, live, thrive with your pain? Because I have pain. I have pain 24 hours a day at different levels, of course. And there are a lot of things that I do. But if you're listening right now and you want to put in the comments what it is that you do to walk through this experience, this feeling of pain, and how you can actually identify the joy that you need when it's really, really hitting hard. So I'm very curious to hear from you. Go ahead and put your comments in the post. If you're watching the replay, there's still a spot for you to put in your comments. I'm happy to hear from you. So I'm just going to pause and let you reflect on that. Again, the question was, if you experience acute or chronic physical or emotional pain, what have been some things that have helped you walk through that? Drink my tea. Any thoughts? Feel free to share in the comments. Looking forward to hearing from you. So one activity, I will look forward to reading your comments, but I want to give you an activity. And here's what I recommend. If you can close your eyes, if you're willing to. Nobody's watching. Well, I don't know where you are. If you're walking, that's probably not a good idea. If you're driving, it's probably not a good idea. But I would love to invite you to close your eyes and either put your hand on your heart or perhaps give yourself a hug and just breathe. And when you breathe in, hold it for a moment at the top and then release it. And what I would recommend is that you send loving messages to yourself. So, one message, for example, with my physical pain, my neck hurts a lot often. And what I can say is, this is temporary. This is temporary. And I don't necessarily recommend actually saying it out loud, but as you breathe in, think the words, this is temporary. And as you breathe out, think the words, this is temporary. So go ahead and try that. If you have a message that you can tell yourself that would be supportive of you in your experience of moving through that pain. Yeah. So again, it is okay to make noise when you breathe, by the way. It's totally okay. So go ahead and try that another 2 or 3 times. And again, I'm going to be welcoming Lucie Porter here any minute. She'll be signing on through Zoom. So we're live streaming into Facebook. In my private group right now, Authentic and Wholehearted Joy, Beautiful Women Around the World. There are about 320 incredible women. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to having this conversation. I'm pausing so you can breathe. Yes. So, the second piece that I would love to invite you to do is surround yourself with positive things that kind of remind you that you are lovable, you are loved. So, I have a lot of little things here that help me pictures, cards, teddy bears. One teddy bear is wearing a scarf and hat made from my mother's clothes. And yeah, so when I'm feeling uncomfortable, whether it be emotional or physical, I can identify that and then look at there she is, everybody. We are live with Lucie Porter. Woo! You clean up good. You're muted. Oops, let's unmute you. I think you're muted still, Lucie.
Okay, there you are.
Yay!
Thank you so
Hello.
much for having me here,
Oh my
Misha.
gosh, I'm so excited. I read everybody your bio and I'm just really looking forward to having you here. And
Great.
yeah, so I told everybody the bio. I've read everybody what you've been doing, and I would just love to just ask the first question. How are you?
I'm
Wait,
great. I'm so excited and grateful for having the ability to and the actual empowerment to support people who suffer from acute and chronic pain because I've gone through such a bad experience and I turned that into something so positive
yes, you
that
have.
changed my life completely. I wouldn't have dreamt even a year ago that I would be here sitting talking to you, going live, not even being scared of it. I mean, I
Mm,
do have goosebumps everywhere right
yeah.
now, but I think that's natural. A year ago, I couldn't even look at it at a computer screen directly on it because I was suffering so much all the time. And I felt that because of my inability to look at a computer screen and to actually read notes, that I would never be able to present. And I've discovered that none of that really matters. This is what I was dealt with. This is what I have to work with. And guess what? Now that I've embraced that, I'm actually able to grow and do so much more than I could ever dream I could. And I'm, ever grateful. Even you, Michelle, coming into my life inspired me in so many ways.
Oh,
Um, it's really incredible when you accept your pain, your challenges, you actually learn to manage them and live with them and grow.
And
And I keep going
thrive.
back to grow because that's how I feel. I feel like I was so tiny, and now I'm like, wow, the whole world is there for me to take it in my hands and actually support it and love it. Um,
Absolutely.
I I have touched so many lives already just in the past 6 months. Um, I decided that I wasn't about. So should I tell you a little bit about the story, or?
Yeah, so I would love to. One thing is I would love to first acknowledge I saw you a year ago. I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw you in pain. I saw you emotional and physical, and I've done
Oh
lived
yes.
that as well. And so when I saw you last night at the event that we both shared an experience and just seeing you glowing and thriving, and I mean, I'm super thrilled. And I know it's not just this magical answer. You did a lot of work,
Oh
to get
yes.
there. And a lot of us need to do a lot of work to get where we want to be. And I'm seeing you thrive. And so I guess before we go full bore into what you've done this year, I would love to just ask, are you feeling joy today?
I can't even express. I just got goosebumps my whole entire body of how much joy I feel. I am excited to get out of bed and get to my computer and to see who responded to what and what I have to do next. And sometimes, you know, it's 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 so beautiful and powerful that I have to stop and breathe to take it all in because
Yeah.
it's coming so quickly that I don't want to miss any of it. I
Yeah.
am full of joy and full of life. And thank you for that. You're a big part of it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on an incredible journey, both of us.
Yes.
And yeah, I do want to know more about well, I'll ask you the second question. So one of the things that I've been talking about all year, and you really just said part of this in what you said, was that we have pain, but we can also access joy, and they can be happening at the same time. And what I was sharing with my listeners before you popped on was I had a student share an experience with me that they got to go on a really nice trip with one of their parents,
Mhm.
and they were enjoying it, but at the same time, they were missing their brother, their sibling.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they're having a great time and they're sad, right? And so
Yes.
those two experiences can be there. And the same thing, like, we are walking through pain physically and emotionally, and it hurts and we're starting to thrive. And so we're feeling the two at the same time. And I think it's really important for us, all of us, and healers also like you and I,
Mhm.
to really help people identify that just because there's pain doesn't mean there's not joy, right? And those people that don't understand either invisible disabilities or other kinds of pain, just because you see someone smiling doesn't mean they don't have pain,
That's
right?
right.
And so to kind of bring that together. So yes, whatever thoughts just came for you, I'd love to hear you share them. And then anything that you want to share about what you've been doing in your story, what you've come through, I want to hear it all.
So one of the when you talk about feeling joy and pain at the same time, Um, I deal a lot with people that were involved in personal injuries, such as motor vehicle accidents or motor vehicle collisions. And one of the things that people don't realize that it's called an accident for a reason. Nobody meant to do that to you. So you're living all this anger and you're living all this physical pain on top of it, and you're not allowing your body to heal because you're stuck with that negative thought towards someone else instead of forgiving them and forgiving yourself for being angry towards them so that you can actually move on. So I actually spent a lot of one of the first things that I explain to people in my journey in supporting them is to let go of who did what and why, and to actually embrace that pain so you can actually work with it. So
Absolutely.
once you start working with it, you feel good because now you're taking control and taking charge. So see, there's joy and
Mm-hmm.
there's still pain, but now you're working with it. So yeah, um, that's how I can, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Is one of the first thing I tell people.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as where I come from, I mean, I come from 20 plus years of working directly with personal injury law firms and rehabilitation centers across the GTA, which would be the Greater Toronto Area in Ontario, Canada, because if some of you are definitely not from here, I'm certain of it. Look at Misha way over there. But yeah, we're so close, right? And in 2017, I did business development. I would literally go in there, interview everyone, let go of some people, hire new people, and that was anything from a janitor to a doctor. It didn't matter. Then I would put in policies, procedures, protocols, and then I would create the manual. Then I would implement paperless software. Then I would rebrand them and put them on the map, train everybody, and then I would move on to the next clinic or the next practice, right? And in 2017, I was walking and I got hit by a car and I got left there to die with brain injury, double concussion, injuries to my neck, fracture to my sacrum, and literally I hid in the dark for about a year. I had no idea what happened to me. I lost my everything. My whole past is gone. It's called amnesia. I had no idea what happened to me. And I was, for the first 3 days, I didn't feel pain. All I wanted to do was sleep. It was crazy. And all of a sudden, all the pain started coming out. I didn't even know I had no skin on my shoulder or my hip. It was the way, like, I just wanted to sleep. And then eventually I had to go to the hospital. And then they told me, well, it looks like you got hit by a car. I still don't know if that's what happened. I haven't dreamt about that, thank God. Because I'm not sure how pleasant that would be, talk about pain, right? Emotional one for sure. And, after about 8 months, one of the doctors I worked with, Dr. Funk, called me and says, hey, Lucie, what's going on? We have a long-term relationship, like 20 years ago. So you haven't called us. Well, you're too busy. You're too good for us now. You're not saying hello anymore. And I told him what happened to me. He says, oh my God, just get yourself in here and let's have a look. And he took me like his own child and he put me in the hands of an osteopath who did cranial therapy on me. He put me in the hands of a physiotherapist. He's a chiropractor himself, treated me himself. He had acupuncture, had spinal decompression, had so many types of treatment. He took care of me for almost a year and a half and put me back together. They literally gave me my life back. They changed my life forever. And that inspired me. When Dr. Funk started working with me after laying in bed and in the dark, I couldn't look at a phone. I couldn't look at a computer. I couldn't listen to noises. I couldn't even handle somebody talking to me. It was all so painful in my head. And and then I went to CAMH, Canadian Mental Health Association, for 7 months to reinstate myself into the public, into society, because I was lost, completely lost. I was so fragile. And all of a sudden, the light bulb went on. Wait a minute. There's got to be so many other people that go through trauma that don't know what to do, who to turn to, who to trust, and what's going to happen next. That's exactly where I was. And thank God for Dr. Fong that reached out to me. But if he hadn't, God knows where I would be right now. Probably hooked up to major painkillers, still hiding in the dark, living major depression. And look what I'm doing now, changing lives completely. And I utilized all my past. I went through, thank God I saved all my old notes and all my old books. I found a whole bunch of the clinics that I work with and law firms. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to support people and I'm going to create programs and I'm going to create um, um, a support system so that I can share those resources with other people that need it so terribly. And I did. And now, when you met me last year, I had 12 clinics. I'm up to 50 now.
Wow.
50 clinics that I work with across the GTA. And when in March, when we started working together on ourselves, and
Yes.
of course, in growing our business, at that time, I was supposed to start my business going from doctor's office to orthopedic surgeons to sell my services and get patients referrals so I could place them what they needed and support them. And all of a sudden, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So now what was I going to do? And I thought, you know what? There's absolutely no way I'm giving up on my dream. And I decided to create virtual care programs and so that I could support people. And now that was opening up a whole new avenue because now I could touch so many more lives remotely, right?
Yeah.
And And I called a whole bunch of doctors and I said, okay, I want to teach you how to do virtual care. And I created a whole program for them, signed them up and trained them on it. And I even partnered up with a company that creates videos and I'm sorry, and the largest libraries of videos and pre-written exercise programs so that the practitioners can actually monitor what you're doing at home, how well you're doing, while you're yourself monitoring your pain. And from any electronic device that has access to the internet, that has a browser, you can actually track everything. And I named that, I call that my sexy tool. I named that Thrive Plus. So we're calling it Thrive Plus because it allows you to actually, keep track of how much pain you're in, keep track how many sets you can do. And there's so many other things, but my memory is shut and I'm really excited. Look, I'm getting red. I'm loving being here. I'm so grateful you invited me.
Curtains and your hair. It's all good.
Yeah. And this is literally, I'm super excited because now I'm ready to launch and brand my business, and knowing that with the way my brain, listen, I feel like an elephant is sitting on my head every day. Like as the day goes on, it gets heavier. The elephant is really sitting on louder and louder on me. I won't give up. So I keep pushing myself a little bit more each day. Now I'm able to literally sit at the computer all day long, but I'm also taking special supplements, which I'm also offering to my clients that really changed my life as well. I think it's a combination of the motivation, the support, um, drive, supplements, healing from the inside out, being healthy from the inside out, getting those cells to rejuvenate and reproduce healthy. So that's another product that I'm offering as well to all my clients. I'm about to launch. And I don't know where, oh yes, that's where I was going. So with the Thrive Plus, so we have a program that's called Do It Yourself. And that program gives you 10 body parts. So there's a lot of people like me, for example, that I was at home and I had no access to treatment for 3 months. And I regressed by at least 50% until I started taking the supplements. And then I developed this, I partnered up with that company that has this tool. And then so I started doing exercise with this program. So I can tell you it works. But now I really want to introduce it out to the public and to people to take advantage of. And how it works, it has 10 body parts. So you get to pick a body part and you have a specific preset exercise program that's created for you where you can actually track yourself. So it's simple. You sign up for it and then you tell us which body part you want, then we send it to you via email within 24 hours, and you have access to your program. That's it. And then you track yourself and you know exactly what's going on. And today, because you invited me on, I'm actually going to offer this to 10 people that actually want to try it out for free for 3 months. Just like that. All I want in return is a testimonial for you to tell us how that worked out for you. And what I did recently is because I can't physically do all this work myself, that elephant stops me a lot. I decided to hire interns because in my previous role as a business development operations manager, I would literally hire interns, medical interns, and help them, kinesiologists, and put them in certain clinics where they needed, where they were looking for co-op hours or internships, and I would place them because I could. I never charged a fee for that. It's just because for me, those students are tomorrow's future.
Absolutely.
And they need help. And right now, they don't have opportunities because of COVID, especially the kin students. They can't go on site and treat patients. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to hire a few of them. Then that worked out. And I thought, you know what, I could do better. I need help with my marketing campaigns and I need help cleaning up my website. Well, within a week now, I have 12 interns. I went all out and now I'm supporting 12 students. And I put them on this treatment, on my do-it-yourself programs using the Thrive tool. And I started with one of the medical interns, and he does like I do all day, sit at a desk and does his studies and it just plugs away and he's like this, bad posture. So he says, Lucie, I want low back. So I said, try it out, let me know. the testimonial on it is just phenomenal. And not only did I change his life for, you know, in his studies and taught him real actual business skits, sales.
Skill sets.
Thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
knew it. Yeah. Uh, those skill sets that he will never acquire in school, right? And that he will never acquire in a clinic because they don't do the back end business or even the marketing portion of it. So I made them all participate in everything. And he just finished because he was one of my first one in December. He just finished. And unfortunately, I didn't have a time to send you the testimonial even to bring it up. So I would be ready for it. But
That's
I'll
okay.
tell you, he said,
We're lucky to catch each other today, so it's okay.
yeah. So he said to me that he wants to continue on it
Mm,
because it's really made a difference for him. So
wonderful.
that speaks volume on its own. So if anyone that's here today is interested, please reach out to Misha and let her know, and I'll be happy to have you set up by one of my students because they're learning that as well. There
Okay.
you go.
Well, and actually,
Um,
when we're all done here, I will have them reach out to you directly because I think that sometimes people can be really challenged by multiple steps to reach what they want.
mhm,
So I
yes.
don't feel like there needs to be a middle person here. Like what we'll do is we'll post whatever link I need to in the posts and in the chats, so people can actually access what they want.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so absolutely. So everybody who's listening and everybody who's watching, and if you're either in the live stream or you guys are in the replays, Lucie is going to be offering 10 people an opportunity to use the Thrive Plus app for 3 months for free. And the exchange would be to just send her a testimonial and say, hey, this was great, or hey, this, whatever your experience is. Because
Yes,
you can be, the idea here on this channel is that we are talking the truth. So if you loved it, great. If you
exactly.
didn't love it, great. You let her know. Um,
And I really need to know because then there may be something I need to do differently, right?
exactly. Exactly.
100% I need to know the truth. Um, and the only thing that I expect from you is that you're committed because we can have all the sexy tools we want, but if we don't use them, it
Right.
doesn't go anywhere. And one of the things that I learned in my years in business development and sales, when you give things for free, people aren't as committed as they paid for it. And
Yep.
that's the truth.
It is
So
truth.
here, I'm going to support you. I'm actually going to follow up with you. I'm giving you my word today that not only I'm going to provide you with the tool, I'm actually going to follow up with you to make sure you're doing well with it. And if it's not working for you, maybe there's something more I can do for you. We also offer 6, 8, and 12 weeks treatment plans for virtual care with one-on-one sessions with practitioners. There's group sessions as well. They will create your own treatment plan using that same tool. The beauty of starting with Thrive is that once you do use it and you record and that's not enough for you, then we can move that up into a treatment plan and the practitioner will have access to all that data.
Oh,
So
wow.
they'll know exactly, and it'll be able to modify the exercise specifically for you. You think I put some thoughts into that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like blown away right now, Lucie. You have been so busy this year to go from
Yes.
12 agencies to 50. I'm just watching your own. I'm actually at some point you might have seen that I was a little bit mesmerized because I'm like thinking about last year and what you were experiencing, what I saw, what I witnessed is, and seeing you right now, like glowing and just like all this energy. And I'm really feeling emotional. It's
Thank
just so
you.
wonderful to see you um, really thriving. So,
I have to say, Misha, I'm really pleased with myself. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I have not. I did a Pain Pro Summit where I invited 15 doctors to speak and I asked them questions, but I've never actually presented myself this way yet. This is my very first time, and
oh,
I think I'm doing great.
I think you're
I've
doing
never even practiced
fabulously.
selling Thrive or presenting Thrive or offering Thrive or even, I mean, I've written it all down. I've been teaching it to my students. I've never done it live or at all. So
Yeah,
this is kind of a really good experience for me. Talk about truth telling. It's the
right.
truth.
Well, that's just
Yeah.
it. And that's why, I have this podcast channel for so many different reasons. One, I think it's really important that people are willing to look at their pain. whether it's physical or emotional. And that by looking at their pain truthfully, that
Mm-hmm.
they then can find their way into joy and have that more consistent as well. But it's not just about joy and pain, it's also about like, how are you living your life? Are you living your life authentically? Are you being truthful? And so when I bring people onto my podcast, I want them to share their true selves. And that can be whether it's their true self in their personal life, their true self in their business life, their true self in their dream life. Who knows? So I'm grateful that this was a forum, a platform for you to practice officially,
Thank you.
sharing with people what you're doing, and it's making an impact. It's changing lives,
I,
you know,
I, I,
for the better, for the
that
better.
I, my biggest goal out of all of it is not, to fix people,
Right.
but I want to offer an opportunity for people to have a better quality of life because they're managing their pain. I'm not saying that you're never going to feel pain again. I do know that even knowing that you're supported will change how you manage the pain, will help you
Absolutely.
will help you take control of it. You know, I'm not making promises that, I'm going to heal you and, you know, this Thrive program is going to do this and that for you. I just want you to try it out and tell me how that worked out for you. And if
Yeah.
that's not enough, maybe there's more I can do. It's that simple,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly.
Um, and my life experience with my accident, believe it or not, in taking on this course and deciding to do the Pain Pro Summit, I've never, don't think, shared that with you, Mishan, and I never thought that I would ever say these words, that I'm grateful for having had that accident,
Hmm.
because my own son was in an accident on October 25th where he fractured his back in two places and separated his shoulder. And, I've been prepared. I've been doing this for years, dealing with people who have had catastrophic injuries. But when it comes to your own child, let me tell you, it's devastating. And to have to be strong and not show those emotions in front of them, that
That
is so painful.
you have to be as
That
gentle.
is so hard. And
Yes.
if I didn't experience what I experienced, I wouldn't be able to support my son today. His accident was on a motocross, an unlicensed, uninsured vehicle. And if I didn't have the courage to do what I did, in the Pain Pro Summit, lawyers loved what I do. So they started sending me clients, and
Mhm.
three of them were in similar conditions to my son's. They learned that he is protected under his own personal motor vehicle insurance. Therefore, his treatment and his attending care is paid for under catastrophic injuries. Um,
Now, can
you
people
have no idea.
are
And even with that, I didn't stop loving and taking care of what I committed to my clients
right.
and supporting my team of students. I hired a team of students, even
Yeah.
though I'm going through all this, because I was determined to make this happen
Yeah.
so that I can continue to support others as well. Because when I support others, it feeds me so much beautiful energy. It's incredible, incredible.
I feel
It's
it
this
too.
bit of myself that I give, but it gives me so much more back. And I do it because I can. I trust me. None of it has paid me dividends, massive dividends into my hands yet. It's coming, you know,
Mhm.
because I deserve to be rewarded financially, so I never have to worry about where the money's going to come from, so that I can have all the tools and access to everything I need so I can support others. Because that's another big part of my struggle. You
Mhm.
know, I lost my home. I became homeless actually as a result of my accident. I really, really did. I went on Ontario Disability Support Program.
Mhm.
I was embarrassed. I was ashamed of that. I didn't want the world to know. I
Mhm.
was literally embarrassed.
Mhm.
Now I'm so proud of what I've done with that.
Good. You should be. We celebrate
Yeah,
you. We celebrate you.
thank you. And I have to tell you, Mishan, this is really cool. Look at you. Never mind, enough about me. I mean,
Well,
you
this is
know,
my show, but
we
I
were,
interview other people.
I know, but I still have to commend you on, look how much you've grown, how much you've accomplished, how many lives you've touched in the past year since I've known you. How
Mhm.
you've created your programs and your offers and and engaging in oh God, there it is. The word is right here. I can see it. It won't come out. It's constant for me. Oh well, I have this much to work with, so I'm grateful. But enrolling people, look, you you reached out to me, and within seconds, I said, sure, I'll do it. And I have to be honest, people, I was still in my tracksuit because I managed to work out, do my 5 exercises this morning, right?
Yeah,
And
no, I love it because when I have somebody who signed up and they can't make it, I reach out because I don't want my guest to be without a guest. I don't want my audience to be without a guest. I'm like, hey, I remembered you last night. I'm like, oh, I wonder if Lucie wants to have some attention and talk about pain, talk about joy, and just like,
yeah,
so I just
and
it works out.
yeah, and you have spread the joy. And
Mm,
you've just picking up that phone and sending me a text message, or I'm not sure if you did it on the phone or computer, regardless, reaching out to me and getting me to step out of my comfort zone to be here today. You gave me an experience full of joy,
mm.
so grand that now I'm going to feel so confident
Yay!
doing my presentation, not knowing I could actually do it just so freely now. I mean, I wish I could show you my very first video. It's scary. I'm
Well, and I think
thinking, hi everybody,
I
I'm
know.
doing this right now. I was even my pitch, everything. It was so different. And I mean, I did like 100 versions of it before I could actually even get to do that much,
Yeah.
right? And in fact, when I started, I would I had to force myself to go live because I would never record the videos. So I preset it for the next day. So I had no choice but to go live. I was so afraid. And look at me now. You said an hour. I said, yeah, I can manage that. I can tell about my story.
Yeah,
That's what it's about. It's
right.
sharing your true self, who you are, and hopefully that inspires others. That's my biggest dream out of this, is to bring, of
Mm,
course, I hope that it's bringing you joy, but it also inspires you to love yourself and take control of your life. And any kind of pain, it doesn't have to be physical. It could be emotional. It could
absolutely.
be, um, it could be, because I do physiotherapy or rehabilitation, osteopathy will treat your organs actually. Well, there you go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, so it could be pain from your organs, but when your mind isn't right, you can't heal your body.
correct.
So letting
Well,
go,
that's a lot of the work that I do with my clients is find, there is joy in there. And if it's not inside, we'll find it from the outside and bring it in, and then you can plant the seed and cultivate it and grow, and it'll blossom eventually. But I think that the biggest piece here, which I heard you just say a little bit ago, was to show up authentically, and then anything is possible.
yeah,
When we are able to feel the feelings and acknowledge them, move through
yep,
them, then we can really heal so much. And I think it's really critical. I want to go back just to something you said. We actually have to close up because I have a client. Um, but I want to kind of finish on this note that nobody is, well, at least Lucie and I are not putting out there that you can completely cure or heal all of your pains. And I mean, even with my conditions, they've said, I could have 70% less pain. I'm always in pain, but it's at
yeah,
different levels. And the more work I do to embrace the positive sides of my life and the good things that are happening and the beauty that I notice, the more distraction I have from the pain. So I don't feel it as much. But there are solutions. So you've all heard today from Lucie and what she does and how she participates in the world. And then you also know that you can always reach out to me. I'll put all the links in the chats and in the comments. And I just want to wish everybody an absolutely splendid, beautiful, joyful day with maybe some mini moments in between that might not feel so good. But I would love to invite you not to define your day as bad because of some bad things, but define your day as good with a few bad moments. Any last words you want to give to our audience, Lucie?
it's just thank you so much for sitting through this, listening to my story, be even getting excited with me.
Yeah.
um, and word of wisdom, when you actually embrace what you do have and you work with it, the universe will keep on sending you fresh tools to excite and ignite your life daily. I promise. I'm just so grateful and blessed because honestly, the universe keeps putting in front of me exactly what I need when I least expected. So just believe. Please do that.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely well said. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It's really been a pleasure, Lucie. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.